But then this, fortunately, this project picked up a lot of steam. We had, I got hooked up with Motif, the producer. He's Mark Anthony's producer, and an amazing. He's incredible. So we started working on a daily basis, and that really, for both of us, like he'd come over here, play the pianos, or I'd go to his studio, and we just vibe off each other.
That's awesome.
Pretty much all day. That just lifted me,
Dystopia Tonight. Dystopia Tonight.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. It's an honor. And again, I love your concept. It's so cool. It's like perfect.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was just one of those things to keep us both sane during this whole thing, and hopefully kind of give everybody else a little bit of a break too. So it's been fun. So plus I get to meet people like you who I feel like I just wouldn't get to meet if I was constantly on the road all the time and traveling. That's
the positive side of this whole shit show,
Yes,
absolutely. People.
Yeah, you've been you said you've been doing these for what, like 18 months, basically just doing the Zoom stuff and whatever.
Starting in late February, early March. When shit hit the fan, and I guess where you guys are in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Then it's just everything here shut down right after that, and
Mm-hmm. Was it how easy? Was the transition easier for you? Did you kind of pick up on it immediately, or did you have that kind of thing where you were like, in a couple months we'll all be fine and back out on the road, or were you like, I need a mic?
No, I was like a couple weeks. I mean, I'm like a optimist. This is And then when it dawned, this shit is not going away anytime soon. It was easy. I was going constantly, traveling, and all of a sudden there's no planes, no concerts. I'm sitting there, between four walls, and for the first 2 weeks, just basically crying into my beer. Literally, and then I had to do something positive, and that, so I started on this project.
That's the coolest thing to me. I feel like, everybody's always looking for some kind of silver lining through this whole thing, and like the amount of art that I think came out of it, just different. Everybody kind of tweaking and changing their style of what they're doing. Like, as much as I kind of didn't really like the comedy Zoom show stuff, I feel like it would have been a little lost without having some kind of connection or something to do with other people,
Interesting about comedy and music, they are like kind of different sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you think the pandemic has changed comedians? Are they still as ironic and
I think even more? Well, first of all, somehow it birthed more of them. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's the same way with the music. And no, see, that's the thing. I feel like with music, like you can't get people who can kind of sing, and you can't get people who can kind of play an instrument. You either can do it well or you can't. And I feel like everybody thinks they're fucking funny. And, so like there's this whole transition of like people who couldn't get into the clubs who were like, I'm going to put on a Zoom show. And then like, it didn't matter if they got laughs or not. But now that things are kind of opening back up, they're going out. Like I kind of see them out in the clubs and I'm just like, you don't belong here yet. Like, it's really weird.
It's brutal, but at the same time, again, I started doing streaming like everyone else, which is great. I sit there and then you finish and it's like, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be, giving right away if someone likes what you're doing or not, like what you guys do, This is a piece of computer, okay, I got something now. You're just sitting there talking to a computer. It's
Yeah, it is kind of weird. And like, but did you kind of like and embrace the whole, like if you were playing a concert basically or doing something on Zoom or streaming or whatever, did you kind of go back and look to see the response that people had, or did you walk away from it afterward?
I did, because I was wondering how it went. The first one I did, I think it was St. Patrick's Day. And it got like 3,000 people or 4,000, which okay, this isn't bad. Then I started doing happy hours every Friday. The next one got like 20,000, and then in a couple of weeks it was like 120,000. It was insane. But I was just, 'cause I just started practicing. Okay, what can I do? Oh, Beatles, anything, Queen, solo piano, just anything I could pull out of my hat. Just started to come up with, and it worked. But again, it's not the same as going to the studio and producing stuff, and
Yeah. When did you decide to start working on the project end of it? Like, did it take you a bit to kind of get back into the mindset of like, okay, I need to make something during this time?
Yeah, because my so I had to go to resumed with Sony, my label. It's okay, do your second album. What do you want to do? And I had this concept for really long, actually since I was 17. I grew up in Detroit. Playing, I started playing professionally at 17 in bars and clubs, and with my band. It was the house and some social hall, and a lot of times if they couldn't afford the whole band, the agent would say, "Okay, we'll send Arthur and his piano and the female vocalist." Like Arthur, whatever parties, but I did it hundreds of times, and it's a format that I love. So I always had it in the back of my mind. But then the pandemic hit, and I was thinking, okay, now is the perfect time. No one's traveling, everyone's home. Let's just call some of my best friends. There's women on the album, and they all said yes immediately. One was in Colombia, Goey was in Colombia, Connie was in Puerto Rico, and Natalie was in Spain. It was insane, but they all came to Miami, and we went to the studio live, and we went to the Faena Hotel, which was shut down. They just let us use it, basically. Oh, wow. And we filmed the HBO special there. So that's incredible that they let you do that. That's really cool. Yeah, it was, John and Tom, it was the weirdest feeling. Like we walk in, and it's this beautiful, beautiful hotel, and they have a great theater, like about 300 people. They took all the furniture out, and we just basically made it into a giant sound stage. Wow. And then when people come in, there's like 40 people working on the set, and I'll never forget, Connie comes in with a mask and a shield. This is in October when it was like raging like it is. Right. I mean, I had two masks on, and we were both looking at each other, like with a look in our eyes, like, what the fuck are we doing? This is not right. I swear to. But then we said, okay, we're here to make music. We took a mask off. We just went. No one got sick, fortunately. And, nice. And this energy, this positive, this weird kind of energy came out because no one had been performing for so long. It's like, I could play again. Yeah. Finally being able to do to use your talent in that way, or just to get out and see other people. It's like seeing somebody for the first time ever. Yeah, right. Are you guys going on the road now again? Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to book shows. I've got shows in the fall. Tom's been gigging.
I have been gigging a lot for some reason, but it's crazy because you get like that panic of exactly that, where you're like, I don't know if I should be doing this yet. Exactly. Right? But the energy's there, and you need, I think we all need energy to really perform right. So you feed back and forth off of that vibe so much. You've got to have that energy. And we finished one song, and it's only 40 people, but this is October. So let's see, I stopped playing. My last concert was in February. So 8-9 months. And we finished, and just the crew starts clapping. Euphoria! Yeah. My first show back was in New York. And it was one of those things where I was like, I get down to you go into the basement of these clubs or whatever. And I walk downstairs, and I see the audience, and people, I think only one person had a mask on, and everybody else had their mask off. And I went in with my mask on. I was fully vaccinated at this point. I didn't want to go out until I was. And, everybody was kind of doing their thing or whatever. And then finally, actually taking off that mask was a bit of panic, but then also just hitting the stage, you forget about it. As soon as you get the people laughing and the response from the audience, you just forget all that shit. And then when I got off, it was immediate panic again. I was like, oh, this feels right. Yeah. How has it been in Miami? I mean, are you guys holding up okay in Miami? Yeah, according to many people in Miami, there is no pandemic, and there never was. Exactly. Yeah. Does that help? I feel does the delusion help? The delusion, last April, I'm with two masks on, and you see these Miami Beach, everyone's like, oh my God, I know. It was. I kept seeing those photos of people. I can't remember where it was, but it was one place in Florida or whatever where it was this outdoor cesspool. Basically, everybody. It's iconic. That image. Yeah. Whatever it was, I was I knew I'd seen it before, but it was during COVID, and I was like, oh, I hope those people are gone. They're not gonna make it. What was your, do you remember your first, I always ask people this because I'm fascinated by whether they remember it or not. Do you remember your first paid gig as a performer? My first paid gig,
I have 6 brothers and sisters. I have a big Irish family. I have 8 uncles on my dad's side. Every Sunday they'd come over and they'd have some drinks and, hey, Arthur, play piano. I was like 12, and so my uncle came up because I do it every Sunday. I love to play in front of people anyway. But he's like, he gave me $2 and said, look, you'll never forget this, your first paid gig. Wow. And I never forgot. That was so nice. I'm like, I can make money doing this.
That's fantastic. That's the first time we ever had somebody who had a family member pay them. Everyone's like, I was in this shithole and I had to fight the guy for money. Yeah, immediately. That's got to set you up for like some kind of a disappointment at the end. Like, this is that easy? And you go.
But then I'm sure too, then you forget your first real gig. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, we were the house band at this social hall for like, weddings and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'll eat for 17. You get to eat cake. I can have some rum and cokes and no one will say anything. Money. It's like, this is great.
Oh, that's great. What was your because you're doing, like you said, like you've been doing like Latin music. What was kind of like, was it always that way, or did you just kind of fall in love with it over time? Like, what did you start out playing?
No, I fell in love with the piano when I was 6, and I always had this passion for it. My parents are Irish immigrants, and like I said, I have 6 brothers and sisters. I'm like, I really want to play piano. I do this, and my dad's like, I don't see it. We all work here. You got to work. What are you
I don't see it. That's so great.
Yeah, Spanish is even when I do interviews in Spanish, no lo veo. I mean, it's like. So it's like, well, let's do something. I know you're working hard. Audition places. If you get into a really good school, like in New York, where the best are, then maybe we'll talk. So I worked my ass off, and I actually got into Manhattan School of Music, which, as you know, is in Morningside Heights. And
yes,
I was living there. My parents didn't realize was that the neighborhood to this day, especially back in the late 80s, early 90s, it's Dominican, Colombian, Boricua, Puerto Rican, and it was impossible for me not to hear, all that music. Detroit, I was playing Motown gigs with all the Barry Gordy moved to LA, but all the older guys stayed behind. And so these guys were much older than me, but I learned so much hanging out with them and how to improvise, think on my feet, play, okay, change ups all the time. So then I got to New York and I heard the Latin music, and I was like, yeah, man, this is just like a kind of a natural extension of what I was doing. So
wow, that's incredible, man. Do you have anybody that was like that you were trying to model yourself after in the very early beginning, like somebody that you admired?
Well, all the best Latin bands that were coming to New York, like Grupo Nietzsche from Colombia, Gran Combo de Puerto Rico, they were all there. I would just hang out and listen and absorb. But I was studying classical music because my parents said, look, you need your classical background. But then my mom started calling me Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because during the day I'd be like, this is cool, man.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's incredible. When you like it said you were the #1 pianist in the Billboard chart, do you remember like that day, like getting that call? Like what is that experience even like?
I was on a plane. I was actually in New York, and I was coming back to Miami. I'm walking down the aisle, and my manager calls. And he goes, "Dude, it's #1. It's #1." And I'm like, you're fighting for a seat. I'm like, what? What are you talking? What's #1? It's like 8 in the morning, up till 3 in the morning. The night before. Yeah. This fucking song, you idiot! Our song. I'm like, oh, dude,
oh my god, that's got to be fucking surreal, man.
It was because it was my 3rd album, and the first 2 albums, to be honest, it was not easy. Everyone's like, who's this Irish guy playing Latin music? But what the fuck?
Right.
To get accepted, I just kept plugging away, working. It's like playing comedy, you just do it and do it. And people, okay, this guy's really good, whatever. And then I did a collab with Tito Nieves from Puerto Rico. That was the song, and it just took off, and then it hit #1. So that changed a lot of stuff.
That's funny.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say that's funny because you went from being who is this Irish guy doing Latin music to the Irish guy that does Latin music.
Yeah.
Like you turn into the standard as opposed to being like, who is this?
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I left New York and I moved. That's exactly what happened. So I moved to LA, and I had my gig, my concept and everything, and playing gigs constantly all the time, but locally, and no record labels would, I was the sorry guy playing Latin music. I'm like, fuck it, I got to go to Miami. That's the heart of everything. And then within 1 year, I got signed by a label in LA because all of a sudden I was like, just what you said.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
crazy.
Was there a lot of pushback breaking into the scene?
Pushback, yeah. I didn't get any like death threats or phone calls like that. But I did. I'll never forget. I went to from Miami. I was so excited. I had my first contract. I had to fly back to LA. I go in, and Phone Visa is this Latin. It couldn't be a more Latin label. You walk in, it's this huge. No one speaks a word of English, and I go in really excited, and I see like the person at the front desk, she's taking, and your name, she's looking at me like, oh, this must be the new accountant. This is like, no, I'm Arthur. I know, come on in. So
that's great. It's
not easy though,
Yeah.
And have you mastered the language as well? Like did you master the music and then did you move into speaking a little bit of Spanish? Because I would think that like on your tours, you must deal with a lot of people with a very heavy, like Latin speaking base.
Oh yeah, all the time. I just I never studied anything, but I picked it up. It started in New York, really. Musician friends, hey, Arthur, I said gringo, and then it's the gringo guy that plays Latin music. Little by little, then you pick it up, and it's very musical too, and that helped. And one time, I took it as a compliment. I played this gig. It was like a benefit, for this like mainstream audience in LA. And I finished, and this woman's guy, and we start talking. I gotta tell you, your English is excellent.
You just take the compliment at that, but you're like, thank you. I've been really
thank you. I'm from Detroit.
You're like, Detroit's bad, but it's not that bad.
No doubt.
We still get English there. That's incredible. Oh my God. So what, like in the music scene and stuff, like, because I'm always curious when I talk to musicians or anything like that, are you guys like kind of, and I know this is a weird way to put it, but are you all aware of each other? Do you like do you look at the last guy that was at the place and do you have any competition there? Like, man, this guy played this venue before me. He sold out. I gotta sell it out. Or is it just kind of chill with everybody in the scene?
And it depends. With other musicians, it's chill, but the business part is definitely all right. How much did he sell? How much? I mean, I'm sure it's what you guys deal with all the time.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of weird, and I always feel like I always wonder if it bugs musicians as much. Like I think like for comedy and comedians, like we try not to let that interfere with like the, you know what I mean. We let the other people kind of handle that shit. But then sometimes it kind of, it does. It kind of overlaps because you're like, oh, they did this, they did how much or whatever. But I feel like whenever I talk to the musicians, you guys just admire the shit out of each other.
Yeah, there's definitely that mutual respect, doing something.
It's hard. Like it's hard.
And they make you do promo. Like I did, my last tour was November 2019, and everywhere you go, you see, you have a show wherever, you get there 2 days before, and you have to do promo to the radio stations, do all that, which is like that's really the work. Like we always say between ourselves, you know what? I'll play for free. Just pay me for doing the promo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the promo stuff is always really difficult. When you were like during the whole pandemic or whatever, was there ever a point where you got like, just kind of down about, like, I know you were doing your Zoom shows and stuff like that too, but like, was there ever just a moment where you just didn't want to do it? Because I know for me, like even sometimes where I was like, it was going on so long, you were just like, what is the point? Am I even affecting anything? What's the point? Did you ever get down about it?
Yes, I had the exact same experience.
Right.
I started doing it on St. Patrick's Day, and then right around the middle of June, I'm like, what is this? It was a happy hour. So, okay, happy hour. Yeah, I can go for a happy hour right now.
Yeah.
But just, you're like playing into a computer. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
This is, there's like.
Yeah.
You're like, is this performing?
Yeah. Did you have any kind, like, what did you do to get yourself out of it? Or did you just keep playing? Like, was it just about,
I tapered them off completely, but then this, fortunately, this project picked up a lot of steam. We had, I got hooked up with Motif, the producer. He's Mark Anthony's producer, and an amazing. He's incredible. So we started working on a daily basis, and that really, for both of us, like he'd come over here, play the pianos, or I'd go to his studio, and we just vibe off each other.
That's awesome.
Pretty much all day. That just lifted me. Like,
what was the point?
Number,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the point in your career where you thought like, holy shit, this is happening and it's real? Like, was it opening for somebody huge or working with somebody, or was it like maybe like your first sold out? Like, what was the point where you were like, oh my God, this is actually real?
I did, they have these giant Latin radios, like radio shows where they invite several artists. And I got a call for a week. Okay, there's SBS is the name. You know, they're all over the country. We got this big show. It's in New York. Where is it? Madison Square Garden. Like, and they wanted me to do. So I did that, and that was like, I walked in. You were backstage, and then you know you have your own dressing room, and you hear the like the deafening noise when you're about to go on.
Right.
Hit your pants a little bit for the first time because you've never been to Madison Square Garden. but it was great. And you start breathing, and you know.
Yeah. Did you ever suffer from any kind of stage fright or anything like that, or was it just you had the performers like skill in you all along?
No, I always get a little bit nervous, but that I like to. I mean, I think I'd get more nervous if I didn't get nervous. To be like, oh, what's going on? How about you guys? Do you get that like edge before you?
No, I completely agree, and I'm always curious because I always feel like I feel like when people tell me they don't get nervous before they go on, I'm like, you're totally full of shit, or you suck.
Yeah,
one of those two. But yeah, I get that. I get that thing. Like literally, I'll be standing next to the stage, and my brain is just going, you know, you can run if you want. I can see the exit out of my periph, and I'm like, it's right there. You don't need to do this. and then you just go and do it. Yeah, there's always that moment of like 30 seconds of sheer panic, and then you know when the lights come on, you're like, hey, it's fight or flight, and you want to fight it.
Yeah, exactly. Then something kicks in.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very like for me, it's the prequel is nothing but anxious and panic and stress. But the minute it starts, I'm at home and it's perfect.
Yeah,
and nothing there's nothing that could go wrong because you know how it is. Live performance, nothing goes wrong because they don't know what's supposed to happen next, right? So it's always going to go right in my head. Then when it's over, it feels like I just had sex, and it's just like like you're basking in that crazy glory of the accolades and such a sense of relief. So it's crazy.
That is it exactly. And then for music, there was always you have a monitor in your dressing room so you can see exactly what's going. Okay, you have half an hour, then like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you put it in your ears, you know, and you hear the and then you get really. But then once you go out there, for me, it's weird. Like everything kind of slows down. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm playing like half speed. It's weird, and then you finish, and
we get it. You both have had sex. We're all very impressed. I'm
sure him more than me. Latin music.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God, that is interesting though. Like, because I know that like for comedians too, like even when you're performing, like sometimes you know when I started the nervous energy, you'd start talking faster. Do you ever get that where you're like you have to like, oh, I got to slow down just a little bit, like where you're playing a little faster, or does that not happen?
Not with my playing, but my speaking, definitely, especially when I first started.
Oh, okay.
It's so great to be here. I'm like, slow the fuck down.
And everyone's looking at their like little bro, like, who was that? What's his name? You said his name, but I didn't hear it. You said it too fast.
Yeah,
I get the same way about flying. I don't know if you're like, but I like to this day, and I've flown. God, I've been on planes since I was like 6 months old. Like, you know, and now for traveling, you're on the plane all the time too. But like, taking off is the worst experience for me every fucking time. But once I'm like sitting in the air, I don't care how high we are. I don't care whatever the fuck, turbulent, whatever, nothing bothers me. But it's just that initial takeoff for me is always like white knuckling the seats, and everyone's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "No." No, I'm not. Did you miss I missed the traveling more than I didn't realize how much I missed packing a bag. You know, and just I packed one just in case. Like I think I've had one bag packed for the last year and a half where I was like, now? Can we go now?
I didn't go anywhere for till like 6 weeks ago. I had to go. Then I went to LA, did some stuff, and I went to New York 2 weeks ago. And
nice.
my bag packing chops were like totally gone. Like I used to be able to do it in like 10 seconds. You know, like where do I put this again? You know, I had it down.
Yeah. I realized I didn't have to. Like the other day I was packing. I was going somewhere, and I was like literally throwing stuff in my bag, like I was fleeing the country. And I was like, I could take my time here. Like I don't know, but I was just like, I need this. Like I don't know what I was doing. It was weird. It still feels weird to like do anything because now they keep talking about shutting everything down again. I'm like, I will fucking lose my goddamn mind. But at least I feel like we're masters at this now, at least for the most part. Like this, like I like how chill you are with your piano just right there, and like this is the best setup I've had. You're the most calm guest. I feel like no one's like, you're not checking everybody else we had was like checking their you see the background and you're just like, yeah, I got a piano.
He doesn't have a piano.
I like to get ready.
Yeah, that's right. Two pianos and a guitar.
Another one there. 5 minutes before, I just kind of get like, okay. And kind of get in this mood that I'm me.
Have you ever thought about because you said you talk when you're on stage a little bit? Do you ever do like a little riff and some comedy in between, like just like a slow little with some one-liners in there? Because I feel like you can pull it off.
That's a great idea. I should do that. You know what I do though? I pick someone out in the audience, and I started doing a couple of years ago, and I got to kind of get a feel for them. I'm going to play your personality. And then I kind of play their personality on the piano, and most of the time you can get pretty close. You can read someone, in the audience, and so I love
stuff like that. That is absolutely. Wait, could you do us? Well, I've never asked a guest to do anything before, but I'm like, this is fascinating. Just think about it, but you could do it later.
Don't put him on the spot. Yeah. Let him digest your personality.
I got some ideas.
All right.
All right, so John would be like, he's got like obviously like a kind of a wacky side. It's really fun.
Nice.
But at the same time, like an intelligent thing, a world view kind of thing, which is more relaxed. So then together. I don't know.
That is incredible that you just come up. I love that you can improvise like that on the spot. I don't think I've ever seen anybody just randomly do. That's a great thing to do for the audience, because I like when something brings in a uniqueness to each show. Like they feel like that show is unique to any other show,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing, but speaking of comedy, I have so much respect for comedians. I know how much work is involved, and you have to make it look easy. But I know, so to try to come out like I'm like you guys, that's why if I say something funny, great. But
I know what you mean. And like I have a keyboard, which is just, it's so sad because it's still got all the stickers on it. Like I'm not good at, like I can memorize stuff, and I've got songs that I remember from like back in the day or whatever, but like I'm not. I wish I was like good at playing the piano. It's like I think it's one of the coolest things to play.
What John's trying to say is he wants to duet with you, but he's only going to play chopsticks.
If you could just put those stickers on that other piano, I'm pretty sure I can figure something out. But I see you have a guitar in the background too. Do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, that saxophone. When I get locked sometimes, something you want to write something, and you tend to, I have to get out of my comfort zone, because if I stay in the same place, I imagine like writing a joke and you start thinking along the same line. So I like something to jar me out of what my mindset. Mm-hmm. So I pick up a guitar, which I'm not really good at all, but it's a whole other mentality, if that makes sense.
Right.
And sometimes that helps me come up with stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. When what is your writing process like when you're writing something? Because is it just, I imagine like, you worked with these other women before, and they're doing, obviously they're singing with your music. Are you writing with them? Are you writing the music first? Are you writing the lyrics first? What is the first thing that pops into your head?
Well, for songwriting, it's usually one of two things. It's based on reality, something, which why I miss planes too, because they're great places for material. You see a couple, or maybe it's a tryst, or maybe their last date, he's already got a girlfriend, or maybe, there's all kinds of possibilities. So it's either that based on reality or something in my own life, or like a fantasy, like I'm on the beach and the most beautiful woman in the world walks by, and we end up, spending 3 days on the beach. That's a
yes.
So,
keep
but
going.
in this,
I'm just kidding. I like where your head's at there. It's been a while.
No, with Piano y Mujer, there's 5, women I know so well. And, we're going to do it separately because of COVID. So Arthur, record your pianos. The women, they'll do it. Then we'll just put everything together. And then with Motif, like, no fucking way. We're going to the studio. We've got to do this right. We've got the time. No one's flying. And so that, normally a session's 3 or 4 hours. We had like 3 days for each, which was amazing to really go, let's try this. We had, I'll see you tomorrow. No rush. So it was really, I always like to say I'm looking for the magic, and we had a lot more time to try to find it, because of COVID.
Yeah. Do you like to like how structured is a performance as a show for you? Because like you said, you got the implementation of like, you'll go to the crowd a little bit and you'll kind of play their personality and stuff like that. But like, are you guys all in tune with each other enough where if you decide you're going to go on a riff, the band automatically follows you? Like, how does that work? Like, do you keep it basically to what you want to do, or are you able to play?
Yeah, I like to call all audibles, do surprises and stuff like that. And you can tell too that when you can read the audience and you start feeling more energy. Yeah, keep it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is working. This is working. And nice. Sometimes not. Like, let's get out of this one and go to the next one.
Does it work better if like, because you play with the same people all the time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's like a group. Yeah,
it's a group. Yeah. So like, is it like a musician's kind of mindset though? Like, if you get somebody new in there, do you know automatically if they can play like any, you know what I mean? Like, is it I'm trying to figure out the best way to say almost like but improvising, like, because I know you've got your group, right? So you guys can play. Do you ever get somebody else in the mix where you're like, all right, we gotta keep it kind of, do you try to like push them a little bit to be like, I wonder if this guy can keep up with us? Like, fuck with them a little bit?
Yeah, like everyone used to do to me. Definitely. But there's so many amazing musicians, and so the musical director would say, okay, this guy's, we're in New York, we're not taking so and so, but New York's got this other guy that's amazing. And you go to rehearsal, you can tell in 5 seconds that this guy's amazing, and that's so much fun too. And then you can just start riffing and then playing off each other, and that's cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm so fascinated by the music world because I just don't. It's like a whole other, like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, I can't play an instrument. I've tried. Tom knows this a million times. I've got a banjo that hangs on my wall. It's beautiful. I've broken the string I don't know how many times. I can't really tune it for shit. But I'm interested in all that kind of stuff, and it just blows me away.
But how about you? I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Oh no, go ahead, Arthur. Go ahead.
No, so how about your like your rundown? Is your rundown like, I'm going from bit to bit, word for word, or is it just kind of a concept and then it's different every time slightly, or?
It's for me, I love to be able to. That's why I keep asking the improvised questions, because I love to do that kind of stuff. Like, I do have like the jokes that I like to tell. I know I've got like an hour on stage, but it gets boring for me if I just keep doing the same thing. Like, unless I'm like doing an album or shooting like a thing where I have to have that specific material on. I love playing with the audience. I love trying out new material and mixing up my stuff. And I also love watching the comics that are on before me. Because if, something hits the audience in a certain way, I'm like, oh, I've got some new stuff I want to try out. And that kind of, mixes well with that. So I love playing all the time. Like, that's the best thing about being on the road to me, because I don't feel like, first of all, comedy clubs don't make you famous anymore. So it's not like I'm ever risking anything. It's like, oh no, I can't come back to Poughkeepsie. Whatever. But I love to be able to play.
I find it so interesting too, because I feel like musicians, like the higher level of musician, the more accommodating they are to other musicians. I have a friend that plays with Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. He was with for a long time, right? Cool. So he was just out in the bar drinking with my brother and our other friend, and there was a band playing, and he's like, "Hey, I got my I got my instrument in the car. You mind if I come up and jam with you?" He's like, "Maybe next week." The guy in the bar says to him, he's like, all right, cool. I'm on tour. I'll be in Colorado next week. Don't worry about it. He's like, that was pretty shitty of that guy. He's like, I would always be open to helping other musicians. And I feel like it's funny. Like, the higher you get, the more accommodating I feel like it gets.
Well, probably the guy in the bar, he may have been intimidated. Who knows? Maybe this guy could be really good. And
yeah, right. But I don't think he was just being cool. Like, he's a very like you would never know it. We went to go see them. They opened for like Hall & Oates in the Garden one time. So we're leaving, and he's going to get on the subway, and we see him. We're like, "Oh, we'll give you a ride back." Like, you don't have to jump on the subway. You would never know you just performed in front of a sold-out garden, which was crazy.
Yeah. No. I mean, the guy that he asked that said, come back next week. Maybe he thought,
Yeah, maybe. Where is your favorite place you've ever played? Like, you must tour all over, right? International. I would think a lot of Latin American countries.
Yeah.
What is your favorite so far?
I gotta say, New York is just because that's where I found my cause, my calling. It kind of, the whole thing was, this whole concept was born in New York, and my first big gig was there at Madison Square Garden. A couple of years ago, I did a thing at Nassau Coliseum, which was amazing, and the energy that you get in New York is just
palpable.
Yeah. And everyone knows what you do. You can't bullshit anyone about, no, I'm really good. They're like, you can tell in 5 seconds if you can play or not.
Yeah, exactly. Were you ever like, do you get starstruck? And if you do, like, who was the guy that like, or girl or whatever, like, who you were like, holy shit, like, nervous to meet?
I did once. I've always, just because they're musicians, and like Tom, you were saying, they're accommodating too, and they know you. But once, about 10 years ago, I did a PBS special called Encanto del Caribe, the Charm of the Caribbean, in Puerto Rico, in this castle. It was the first PBS special on Latin music, and so I invited Mark Anthony, Laura Pausini from Italy, and Cheo Feliciano, who's Puerto Rican, who was like 74 at the time, and
wow.
One of my biggest inspirations. We started playing this jam. And I started. And I'm doing that, and I invited Bernie Williams too. He comes out with his guitar, so I'm jamming with Bernie. And all of a sudden, Cheo comes out, and he puts his arm on the piano like this. The crowd goes crazy. I pulled together, dude. I was completely, I don't know.
Wow.
Starstruck. The guy was, was one of my. He's a living legend.
So, I got nerve-wracked because he did it to you while you were playing. Like, I was thinking like, oh, you met somebody backstage or you're about to go on. Somebody actually that you were like starstruck by while you're playing is.
He grabs the mic because he was like one of the first way back, like doing kind of improvising rap in Spanish and English, mixing. He puts his arm on my shoulder and he takes the mic and.
Just a complete out-of-body experience. Like, I'm not watching yourself.
Come on, get your shit together, man. Come on, just play.
Oh my God, incredible. I'd love to talk about. So, could you tell me a little bit about the women that are on this, the HBO Max thing? Because you said you were very close with them. How did you guys meet? How did you decide to pick them? And just can you tell me a little bit about them?
Well, I love doing collabs, but I really truly believe in chemistry. It's like when you meet someone, there's chemistry, and sometimes they're not. I have a really hard time working with someone if I don't feel comfortable in a chemistry with them. And with these, all 5 of them, the minute we met, there was this amazing chemistry. Connie Garcia, she's from Puerto Rico. She's won Grammys, Anglo Grammys, Latin Grammys. We met like 4 years ago at a dinner, and we just kind of started talking about music. Then turns out she plays the cello too. It was her first instrument.
Oh my God!
She's got all kinds of stories, but she sings her ass off. She's just so amazing. Natalia Menes, I've known for she's from Spain, and I invited her to the PBS special with Mark Anthony too, and we became great friends there. And Gojo is from Colombia. Eveluna Montaner, and Nelas from New York. He's Venezuelan. So the project got green lighted with Sony. And I didn't really think that, we had these ideas, let's do something strategic. I'm like, I'm going to call my friends and see it first. People, and all 5 of them, like, Arthur, what are you doing? How's the family? No, I'm here. Like, me too. Let's do something. What do you want? And they all said, like, yeah, let's do it. They flew up, and that really helped. Incredible. Yeah. So when I got sick of doing the streamings, like you were saying, that came up. I started working with Motif, and then we started, vibing with with the women, and that, like, their energy just started, building and building.
Yeah, there's nothing better when working with friends, especially during a crisis. It's kind of funny too, because I don't know if you felt the same way, but like, do you remember when you were in like school, or there was something? Because I feel like when you get older, you don't have this anymore, where it's like school or a job, like a day job that you hated or whatever. You made friends in those situations because you all felt like you didn't want to be there, but you had to make the best of it. Like there's nothing better than a group of people in a small room who don't want to be there. Like not that, like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's how you make those connections and those friendships and stuff. And I feel like that's kind of what COVID was for a lot of people who got to collab. Like I got to talk to comedians that I never get to see because we're always on different, you know, in different states, in different parts of the country or whatever. And we're all basically headliners. So we never get to work together. But then for this kind of thing, COVID was this compact, it just made the world smaller.
Yeah. It's kind of like this, you know, extended traffic school, you know, with
yeah.
That's the best analogy that I've heard. Extended traffic school.
This fucking sucks, but let's make the best of it.
Yeah. You find out all your friends are there too. Like you're
exactly.
You got pulled over by COVID too. You're all in jail together. That's phenomenal. What's like? Do you have like because I know, like you said, you've been traveling, you go all over the place. Do you have like any close calls? Because I feel like if you're going to other countries, there's got to be mishaps. There's got to be some shenanigans, some drunken nights, some weird times.
Let's
do it, man. We're getting into this Dystopia Tonight, and we got give us your best.
All right, one of my best is, without mentioning any names, of course, I get to where I was going, and the guy from the label's there. Okay, we're gonna have a great time. The show's tomorrow night. We got promo today, and tomorrow morning, really early at 7 a.m., we have this TV show. Mm-hmm. And so he calls me at 9. Okay, all these people, they want to meet you. I'll be there. Let's meet in the lobby. We can go out. You know, there's these beautiful women. And I was like, no, dude, I got to get up. We have 6 in the morning. This TV, you know, it's a news show at 7 a.m. the day.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And so I went to bed like a good boy. I get up and get out of the shower. Hamilton's not there in the lobby. And then it's like 6:30, and I'm calling. I knock on his room.
Mm-hmm.
I swear. And so someone else took me into the thing, and then he shows up, like this guy shows up like about 45 minutes later. And everyone, the crew, like, it's obvious, you know, the guy's been like up all night. And we all just started laughing. Like,
oh my God. That's incredible. I love that you left out now. You're like, without giving any names, I don't want to, like, that's we've had a couple instances where people have like called back and been like, can you block out that whole section?
In previous guests.
Yeah. Which I'm always like, yes, absolutely. Like, I totally understand you're rambling on a podcast. You're not thinking about it. You're dropping names and, you know, prison record numbers. And you're like, oh, shit.
Well, another one, which isn't so funny, but this is an amazing story. My guy that does my set designs and lights, he's based in LA. And you guys know Jenny Rivera? She's Mexican, huge, and
yes,
unfortunately, all right, he was with her in Mexico. They finished the show, gets back to the hotel. They have a private plane ready to go. Mm-hmm. So I took a shower because he was all sweaty. He gets out of the shower and they fucking left without me. He was like really pissed off. Puts his phone down. Now he's got to fly commercially the next day. Gets up the next morning, finds out what happened. And wow. I mean, to this day, he's like, you talk to him, how's your family? And he's like so grateful to be anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Isn't that insane? Because of a shower. It's like,
yeah, exactly. You missed that. There's like a couple stories I know from people who've told me stuff kind of similar, like about like family members who had just missed a flight, like stuff like that happened. And I'm like, that's got to be for a reason. Like, it's insane. You know what I mean? Like, it's just wild. Yeah, a bunch of close, odd enough, like close calls or whatever. I feel like the more you travel though, and the more you're out, stuff like that's just bound to happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. Because if you're on the road constantly and you're just in the air and the sky and stuff, you know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a great, you know, I'm a decent flyer, but you know, I'm not like one of those dudes like running up and down the aisle when he went up turbo. But of course, I can't sleep on planes ever. Like, it's just not my thing, right? I feel like if I fall asleep, the pilot's gonna fall. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's just not. It's a bad thing. So I'm like, I gotta stay vigilant. But I'm on this flight and I'm coming back just from like a week of shows, and I'm just like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just ready to zonk out, and I get comfortable in my seat. And I'm about to, like, they're doing the whole boom, you know, like talking. I'm like, I don't fucking need to hear it. I'm just gonna boop, boop. So I lean back, I go to sleep, and we drop 100 feet because they and like the dude next to me falls out of the seat. You know, you see glasses going up in the air. I swear to God, I will never shut my fucking eyes on a plane again. But like, the pilot came back on. He was like, "Oh, we hit a bit of an air pocket there." I'm like, "I don't need a name. I just need you to not do that shit again. Don't explain." You know. But yeah, apparently you can hit these like, you know, I don't know. I guess it's called an air pocket where like you lose. You have to drop down quickly or lose, you know, whatever. But what's funny was the rest of that flight, no one gave a fuck about the seatbelt sign. Like people were up talking to me. Like I had this one guy was like leaning on like my row of chairs or whatever. He's like, "Hey, where you from? How you been?" No one cared. Like near-death experience. Everyone was like, "What's up? You want a Twizzler?" I'm like, "I don't want any of this to happen again." And like,
I feel like on travel, I always just look at the attendants. Like if the attendants look freaked out, then I'll worry. If not, I'm going right back to bed. Like I'm like, because it's kind of like, I feel like it would be equitable to putting somebody on a stage or in front of a crowd. Like they don't know what to do, they're gonna freak out. So that's who we are as passengers.
Yeah,
they've been there a million times and they're just like, meh, and they keep moving.
Do you ever get the feeling that you're sitting there watching the interaction between them and the passengers? It's like, okay, you hate us and we hate you. It's kind of and everyone's acting nice. Sometimes, not, but a lot of times it's like you can feel this like weirdness.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
it's weird. We had for whatever reason I was on a flight and the back, my side of the their face is more exactly. Somebody said their face is more. It's true. But we were on this one flight or whatever, and the back end of the plane that I was in, because I, you know, just in case anybody wants to know, I fly coach. I'm like, I was on the last leg of that flight. Actually built a compartment. That's how poor I am. And they were like, "You're not going to be in the plane, but you're going to be adjacent."
You're in a cage with dogs.
Yeah. It's like they fit a cage outside the window, and I'm just hanging on. But you know, all the electrical shit was like our movie screens weren't working. You know, like the lighting wasn't working in the back or whatever. And this woman behind me was just bitching and just, you know, beating up the stewardess, whatever. And she was like, "This is the worst thing that could possibly happen right now." And I was like, "Oh, we are 30,000 feet in the air, ma'am." I'm like, "Oh, you have some perspective." And she was, like, I actually whipped around and said it. She was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen right now. I was like, "Ma'am, you need to reel that in." Sorry your movie screen doesn't work, but everything else that needs to be working seems to be functioning properly.
But doesn't it hurt when you're on a plane and you're walking in past first class and there's a guy that has a stand-up bass, has its own seat in first class, and you're like, all right, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Because that stand-up bass couldn't have taken that seat where I was with the two 400-pound men on each side of me.
There's a lot of shit I do, like just to kind of get one. Like I won't pay attention to the boarding numbers. Like I board when I want to fucking board. Like I'm like I want my bag in the over. And the funny thing is that it's such an awkward situation that no one ever says anything. So like they'll look at me and be like, "There's no fucking way he's in row 1." You know what I mean? Like because I look like how the, you know, dude who gave Jenny AIDS in Forrest Gump. So like there's that whole you know, look thing, right? And then but I want to get my seat in the things, and then they'll scan the ticket and obviously they can see whatever, but they're just like, "Fucking let him on." And then I'm sitting all the way in the coach by myself because no one's boarded yet. It's great.
Well, sometimes they enjoy it though. Like, you know, they call it group 1, group 2, then someone comes up, "Sir, we haven't called group 14 yet." Just to embarrass the shit out of the
Exactly.
Someone in group
what was
14,
that? I thought that was 1 or 4. Like I got my option. It's fine. It's fine. No, I get it. I'll wait in the back. Still okay. Yeah, I've well, like what? So I feel like like actors and comedians get to do this kind of shit. Have you ever taken a set piece from anything you performed at, something from the theater, memorabilia? I love asking this question because I feel like performers are all sort of kleptos and nostalgic in weird ways. Like I have a like the number of one of these gigs that I had, you know, like they give you like a little number for the table or whatever that you're sitting at, like a reserve thing. I took it. I don't know why, but I did.
Oh yeah, like table 8, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Then only you will remember what that's from in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're just gonna toss it anyway. It's like
that's what I'm saying. Nobody needs that shit. I'm like, I really like this room. I remember where I am, and I'm taking the fucking thing.
I'll take the number, and I'll take a couple forks and a couple.
I could sell this shit later. I'm sure he's gonna need silverware. Yeah, do musicians do that kind of? Do you guys take stuff from like the backstage areas and shit? I feel like I'm trying to get you arrested towards the end of this episode. I'm like, tell me some dangerous shit you've done. Anything illegal.
Well, what used to be really cool, back when there were hard copy of CDs, and between, speaking of the brethren musicians and other artists, you could sign it for your brother. This is for you. Thanks so much. Nice. And that meant so much. A shelf full of them, of just close friends that, words from the heart. And now you can't do that anymore. It's just, they sent you a link. Here's a link. Yeah, dude, check it out. That's not the same warmth.
Yeah. I miss those kind of touches for stuff like that too. I don't know. I was talking to somebody the other day just about like, it's probably a guest. But whatever it is, like we were just kind of like talking about how like there's just certain things that you kind of wish still exist. Like I get it, like things are kind of getting better and technology makes it possible to do whatever. But I kind of missed forced interaction a little bit, like because that is how you kind of make friends and meet new people and whatever. And it's it's hard to do that when you don't have to call somebody on the phone. Like I feel like whenever I call to make a business deal or talk to somebody, they're thrown by that completely. They're like, you didn't email or text, and I'm like, no, I kind of want to just fucking talk. Like, see if we can hash this out. And then at the end of the conversation, they're still like, okay, but email me though. Everything we just said verbatim.
It's funny you say that. I was with they're planning this one of my agents from Loud and Live. He does all the production stuff like that, and he does a bunch of tours with everyone. And they're working. They're doing mine, and they're doing Julio Iglesias. And so he says Julio picks up the phone to this day, and he said Thursday last week, Edgar, it's Julio. ¿Cómo estás? How are you doing? And then Edgar was like, it's the voice of God. It's not an email from the secretary or someone like that. It was Julio on a phone talking to, just what you were saying.
Yeah. It's so weird. I did, I called, do you know who Elliot Gould is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Everybody, I it's one of those things. So I'm pretty... Either whatever it is in your brain that's supposed to stop you from doing shit like that is burnt out in mine, because I just don't like we were trying to get where we got him to come where he's going to be coming on the show or whatever. But my manager was like, listen, I think I got Elliot Gould's number. If you want to give it a shot, like go. And I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. It was like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Why not? And like, I called him and he picked up his own phone, and it blew me the fuck away. And it was kind of funny because by the end of the conversation, he was like, yeah, you got lucky because I usually don't answer this thing.
That's amazing. So what'd you say? He obviously knows who you are and all that. So you said, I am John,
Yeah. He was really cool on the phone, and he started like, it's kind of funny because I feel like he did appreciate the phone call as opposed to like somebody getting in touch with somebody else who got into, and then an email or whatever, because he started asking me about my background because he's from Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
And born in Brooklyn or whatever. So he was like, well, what part of Brooklyn and where, and what was your family like? And where'd you grow up? So it was a bizarre conversation because he didn't give a shit about what we did on the show. He was like, I'll do your show, but who are you? Which I thought was a really like a refreshing kind of personal take.
Super. That's very cool.
That's a beautiful thing. I feel like that's the key to all. I feel like all of us, no matter where we are at what station in life, just want to connect with other people, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people that are the higher you go don't get the chance for a normal connection. It's usually somebody wants something from you as opposed to being just, how's your day? Everything's going all right? Good. Glad to hear.
Wait, someone wants to talk to you. What do they want? Yeah.
Right?
This is gonna sound terrible, but my friend, one of my friends always jokes around because we had Ed Asner on the show, and it was just one of those things where he was just like, I was like, yeah, he was great, he was a lot of fun, and I talked to him on the phone. I talked to him on the phone a few times leading up to it, just to kind of get him familiar with who I was. He's 91 years old. And my friend was just like, yeah. And he's like, you're the grandkid that calls. He's like, yeah, you're now that person that calls to talk to when they won't. And I was like, that's an interesting take on it, but also now I feel bad. Like no one's calling them but me. That's so sad. You got to trade up, man. I don't have any. Oh, that's a bummer. I got to ask you because we're getting close to the hour, but I got to ask you this because we ask everybody this, and it's our signature thing on the show, and it's one of my favorite questions to ask. Is if you had the ability to go back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice, something only you know now that could help you either in your career or in life, what would it be?
It would be what someone had told me once, but I never really paid it. Well, I did, but I didn't. It's like the word no doesn't exist. When someone says no, it's not right now. That's all it means. I finally learned that. But starting out, if someone said no, I'm like, oh, how could you not like this? I spent 6 months on this project, and then it took a while. But then now I write a song. At this point, for Mark or for anywhere, or whatever. I know I'm not feeling it. Okay, whatever. But it took a while, and for you guys too. The rejection in what we do is so high, and someone that doesn't know you, doesn't know the talent you have, doesn't know how much work you've put into what you're doing. So yeah, the word no doesn't exist.
Wow, that's a great way to put it, man. Because I know exactly what you mean, and I never really thought of it that way. But yeah, like you'll go to pitch something, and then they're like, absolutely not. And I remember feeling, that immediately like dejected by it or whatever. But the funny thing is that if you do go back 6 months later and go like, hey, I've got this thing, they're in a different mood, they're in a different headspace. Maybe they've heard of you or they've seen some stuff, and the whole thing fucking changes like that.
The whole thing, yeah. The whole perception is completely different.
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
It is.
What have you got? So are you going back out on the road, you said?
Yes, I'm so excited. First week in November, we're doing New York and LA and Miami and Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
And then for sure in 2022, Latin America's behind us still with COVID.
Yeah.
But, they want us to do Mexico, Chile, and Colombia. So I'm so
fantastic.
To do that, and get back out there again and just play in front of people.
Where are you gonna be in New York, man? We'll come see you.
Oh, that'd be great. We don't know yet. I did last time in November of 2019. I played Sony Hall.
Oh wow, that's awesome, dude.
That was a lot of fun.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was one. So we're looking at venues right now. There's a lot of availability.
I can't imagine why. You have your pick of the town. I was in New York the other day, man, and it is kind of weird because in spite of like things quote unquote opening up or whatever, it feels emptier than it was.
Really?
Yeah. I was. I mean, you just have tour stuff like that. Like I feel like certain places like Comedy Cellar, McDougal Street was where I was when I did my show, whatever. That was packed. College kids are in that area, they don't give a fuck about anything. So they're just like out in full force or whatever. But like, some of the touristy like shit, like we were just in South Street Seaport or whatever. It was empty. There was like nothing going on. So it was really kind of, but yeah, I can imagine that you got your pick of wherever you want to go.
Well, you'll be back. You guys will be back live probably in New York in the fall, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's coming back. Like it's hitting here and there. It's just getting it's a weird animal because everybody is ready and they're booking and coming back. But now we're getting like a lot of chirping of it's going to close down again. It's going to this. It's going to that. So people I think are tentative about pulling triggers on this show or that show. I was going to say we will definitely come see you in New York, but I want to go see him in Latin America because I feel like those concerts are amazing. Like,
did I not just fucking tell you I flew coach? What is wrong with it? I cannot afford. No, I love that he ups the J's like I'd go see New York, but I want to go to Chile too, Tom.
Machu Picchu.
How dare you? Unless Arthur wants to fit me in his luggage, I'm tiny, man. I'm compact.
Hey, let's go.
What John's saying is he fits in a carry-on.
They're gonna be like, we didn't know you played the oboe, and it's just me, like crunched in there. It's fine, man. I'm flexible.
Awesome.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I was great getting to know you and getting to talk to you, man. You're incredible, and you got to come back on with us.
Yeah, next time in person, get some drinks and
absolutely
music and comedy.
Yes, man,
So
absolutely, man. It's so great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Awesome,
Absolutely.
guys.
Dystopia Tonight.